The most dangerous type of fat is not the fat we can pinch. It's the fat inside the belly, around our organs, and inside the liver and the pancreas. More and more people are aware of this, and there's more content out there, which is good, but some mistakes are being made. One thing I see recommended a lot out there is drink green tea to lose visceral fat. And that's because green tea is high in catechins, which are compounds with anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effect. And yes, catechins can help with weight loss and specifically losing visceral fat. It's been shown in randomized control trials. But there's a huge catch. It depends on the amount. These trials people are pointing to use special formulations of green tea and drinks with very high concentrations of catechins, much higher than most commercially available green teas. In fact, these studies often use regular green tea or a drink that has the amount of catechins normally present in run-of-the-mill green teas. They use that as the control. They sometimes even call it the placebo, right? So the control group, and they don't see an effect on visceral fat with that. And then in comparison, in the intervention group, they use a drink with concentrated catechins, and that's where they see the effect, a reduction in visceral fat. So all these videos and content telling people to drink green tea to lose visceral fat, it's well-intentioned, but in practice, you're not going to see the effect with the vast majority of green teas out there. Okay, how do we get around it? Well, one solution is just drink more green tea, larger volume, right, to get more catechins. In practice, with most commercially available green teas, this can mean drinking a couple of liters of green tea a day to get enough catechins to get the effect. So most people are not going to do that consistently. It's kind of a drag. Also, the content of catechins depends on the quality of the tea, the quality of the leaf that is used, and also on the preparation steps. Because the thing is, green tea is an infusion, right? Most teas are infusions. You put the leaf in water, and whatever leaches out of the leaf is what you're going to drink. So if we use a very high quality tea, very high quality leaves with higher concentration of catechins, and hotter water, and longer steeping time, yeah, you can increase the concentration of catechins in the tea up to a point. But it's always hard to know how much you're really getting out of it. Another option are green tea extracts. So there's a number of supplements commercially available, and these are more concentrated in catechins because they're extracting them from the leaf and concentrating them. There's some evidence that these extracts, these supplements, do help with liver health and liver fat, although we need larger trials to be really sure. Another option for people who prefer more natural strategies, and this might be the best option, is matcha. So matcha is a green powder that you can make tea with, but the thing is, matcha uses the whole leaf. Everything that's in the leaf is extracted, and so the concentration of catechins or any phytonutrients in the leaf is going to be much higher in matcha than in regular green tea products, where it's an infusion, so it's just whatever seeps out of the leaf in the water. Obviously, this is going to depend on the quality of the matcha, how it's done, and the quality of the leaves that they use. And most companies don't report the content of catechins, but in general, higher quality matcha has a higher concentration of catechins. They call it ceremonial grade, and these are usually Japanese brands of matcha that are higher quality, and they're shipped from Japan often. It's not the cheapest product, but it's one option. I've seen it around $50 to $100 for a tin that lasts you probably about a month, give or take, if you're doing it daily. So might not break the bank by itself, but it's also not the cheapest thing out there. We also dug around and we found 2 companies that sell matcha products that actually report the content of catechins. And by the way, I have no relationship with these companies. So this is one company called Matcha Therapy, and they guarantee a minimum content of a specific catechin called EGCG. It's basically the most active kind of catechin in green teas and in matcha, and it's thought to be behind most of the benefits of these products. So they have a EGCG 30 plus, and that means they guarantee at least 30 milligrams of EGCG per gram of the matcha powder. And then a 60 plus, a 90 plus, and a 130 plus, increasing concentration of EGCG. So which one of these is best, and are they enough? Is that enough EGCG in there? I went over every randomized trial that I could find looking at matcha products and liver fat or visceral fat loss. Treatments with low doses of the product amounting to about 15 milligrams of EGCG, which is roughly in the ballpark of green teas out there, most kind of run-of-the-mill green teas, those don't work. So you don't see a reduction in liver fat or visceral fat. Then around 50 milligrams, and this is daily intake, 50 milligrams of EGCG, you start seeing results. You start seeing a reduction in visceral fat or liver fat. One trial compared 50 milligrams to 84 milligrams of EGCG. Both worked, both reduced liver fat, and the 84 milligram treatment seemed a little stronger, kind of stronger reduction. So you might be better off closer to 100 than closer to 50, although both seem to give you some effect. Does it increase even further? What happens at even higher doses? There's a pooled analysis that looked at 6 randomized trials pooled together, and most of the trials were either around 100 or 200 milligrams a day of EGCG. And there was no obvious difference in the effect. They seem to be about equivalent. So it seems like around 100 milligrams a day of EGCG ballpark gives you all you need. So looking at this matcha therapy range of products, and based on what I've seen from the trials, the educated guess would be that the 30 plus might be too low, 60 plus, you should start seeing results, and the 90 or 130 should give you a little stronger results. Is there a difference between 90 and 130? No idea. We don't have granular enough trials to confidently say. So it's whatever the person prefers. Now, there's one issue with this brand. I looked at the website. They ship to all kinds of European countries and Canada, but for some reason they don't ship to the US. And I know we have a lot of viewers in the US, so we wanted to find another brand that would serve that market as well. So we found this other brand called Got Matcha, and it seems to ship both to the US and Europe and other places too, I believe. And so looking at their website, the range that they report, it seems about in the range of the other product of the matcha therapy, about 60 to 90 milligrams of EGCG per gram of this product. And so 1 to 2 grams of that daily in water, in a tea, should give you the desired effect based on the evidence we have. So these are the only 2 brands I've ever seen that measure EGCG and report it. If you are aware of others, by all means share in the comments for people to see. Okay, a couple very important points. You don't want to go overboard with these products. There is some evidence that EGCG doses that are very high, over 800 milligrams a day, can cause some problems, can cause some liver toxicity. So I would stay well under that, 100-ish. And we're talking about milligrams of EGCG, the specific catechin in the powder. We're not talking about the total weight of powder that you're going to consume, where you can consume a gram or 2. That's not an issue per se. It's the amount of EGCGs that you don't want to go crazy. Also, caffeine improves the bioavailability of EGCG, so you can get more out of it if you consume it together with some caffeine. Now, green tea and matcha already include some caffeine because that's present in the green tea leaf, right? Unless it's a green tea product that's been decaffeinated. And this is also good to know for people who have hypersensitivity to caffeine, who don't do well, who get jittery. Matcha and green tea could trigger some of those issues for some people. There's one food component that has been shown to cut liver fat in half. And we covered that in a recent video. I'll link it right here. Check it out, and I'll see you in there.